Evolution of Inclusive Education, EPPI, Government Pilot Inclusive Primary School, Nkolndongo. In 2017, Sightsavers received funding from Irish Aid for a 6-year capacity building programme of their partners, Cameroon, Sierra Leone, Liberia and Senegal. The aim was to improve partners' capacity to deliver Irish Aid-funded projects. Those best positioned to explore and convey what the project has meant are the people who participated in the activities themselves. They have first-hand experience of the outcomes and are best placed to determine the relevance and value of these outcomes in their specific contexts. This is why we chose the most significant change approach. This video was created in November 2021 with the Inclusive Education Project Partners in Yaoundé. Good evening. I'm Miss Marie-Bernard Nkou, Champion of Inclusive Education at the Nkolndongo EPIA. At first, we didn't know what inclusive education meant. We didn't know how to recognise a child with a disability. There were many children with disabilities in our community who were not receiving an adequate education, and the teachers were wondering what they could do to adapt their pedagogical methods to better suit them. These children were discouraged and they were stigmatised. Some even dropped out of school. We were confronted with several challenges in the school, and in particular, the stairs. There was no adapted pedagogy, and the teachers weren't sure what they could do because the needs of children with disabilities were not being met. Sightsavers has helped us by offering a range of training courses, including a course that showed us a variety of different teaching methods, as well as training in adapted assessment methods. We were invited to participate in an awareness-raising course, which was supported by the Ministry of Social Affairs, or MINAS. This made it possible for us to advocate for the children. Thanks to this, the NGO, which had provided us with assistive devices, also helped us to accomplish many other things. Thanks to the course, we gained the necessary skills. We knew we were capable and that we had the means to identify these children. It helped to motivate the children to work and to be independent, thanks to teaching methods that were adapted to each of their disabilities. Children who had been getting grades of 8 out of 20 started achieving grades of 18 out of 20. This motivated the children, and they became more independent. After the courses we received from Sightsavers, we called for the provision of a specialised tutor to each child to allow them to learn more effectively. This encouraged parents who also had children with similar types of disabilities to send their children to school, because all the teachers at Nkolndongo were now adequately equipped to supervise children with disabilities. So we can say that this advocacy has been well received. This led us to be able to allow our hearing-impaired student to progress to the next grade after he had been held back 3 times. After we had finished our training with Sightsavers, we realised that we had been prejudiced towards this child, who had an intellectual disability, because even though he could not write, he was able to answer all of the questions that the teacher asked him. Out of 10 questions that the teacher asked, he was not only the first to answer them, but out of 10 questions, he could correctly answer 8 of them. This allowed me to meet the school's director to argue that this student, who had previously been unable to progress to the next grade, could be allowed to progress, because it was the assessment methods that they had been using that were not adapted to his disability. This request was accepted by the school's teachers as well as its director. Now, this student is even more motivated. Since he progressed to the next grade, he's even more eager to study. He now gains pleasure from writing because we made a deal together that, although he used to be 20th out of 30 students, if he made the effort to write more, he could soon be second out of 30. We were able to encourage him, as well as his parents. So now, every day in class, as soon as he writes something down, he shows us what he wrote down. He shows us the notes he took during class. We believe that this initiative was extremely successful. It has allowed us to improve the ways that we teach and has helped us to better serve all of the children. Thanks to all the participants who took part in the process for sharing their stories of change. Specific thanks to the narrator, Marie-Bernard Nkou, and the Sightsavers facilitation team, Jevis Ebon Sakwe, Gustav Guillaume Dongmo Nondong, and Ezekiel Benu.